Welcome to the Tepper School of Business Multimedia Series. For more information on the Tepper School at Carnegie Mellon, please visit us at www.tepper.cmu.edu/multimedia. And now, here's your selected video.
Fundamentals matter because over the course of your career, you don't know what questions you will be asked. And the questions that you're going to be asked are unlikely to have been covered directly in your MBA, because the questions 5 years from now are completely different than the questions today. If all you know is how to answer questions today, you won't be very useful in 5 years. What we try to give you is structures, fundamentals that allow you to answer questions 5 years, 10 years, 25 years into your career. You will be able to analyze economic systems, you're going to be able to understand people's motivations, you're going to be able to make better decisions because you will have learned the fundamental aspects of how to do so. We do believe that data is important, and we do believe that analytics is important, but it is important in order to make better decisions. It is important to better manage and lead organizations. If all you can do is manage by the seat of your pants, you will make some good decisions, you will make some bad decisions. By looking at data and doing analysis, you can more consistently make better decisions and run better organizations. What we wanted to do was we wanted to find out what was working in our curriculum and what could be improved. And so we spent a lot of time talking to our current students, alumni, recruiters, looking around at the competitive environment and finding out as much as we could about what was out there and how our current curriculum was fitting in. When we talked to all these people, when we got all the data, we found out a couple really interesting things. One, people really did like our analytical approach to business. By looking at data and making better decisions, people were very successful in their careers. Secondly, people really did like the fundamental approach we took to education. They liked knowing about economics, they liked knowing about how people think, they liked knowing about optimization and other aspects of the fundamentals. But then they also really liked how we could build on that in the areas of finance, marketing, operations, and so on. In the new curriculum, compared to the previous one, some of the things that people will see is that the functional areas of business come earlier. And so finance and marketing occur earlier in the curriculum. There are also a few more requirements. The leadership and working in teams now becomes a required course. All of this is there to try to make things work smoother for the students and prepare them better for that critical first internship. In the first year, students will get two major aspects of their education. They're going to get the fundamentals of how economic systems work, how people behave in organizations and in teams and in groups, and how decisions can be made through data and analysis. Once they've understood that, we can move on to the various functions within business: finance, operations management, marketing, and so on. By students understanding all aspects of business and the fundamentals, they are then very well set up for their first internship. In the current environment, businesses want interns and new hires to be useful right away. They cannot have the luxury of having them train for further years when they hire our students. And therefore, our curriculum has to provide useful people right from the get-go. Recruiters are coming in earlier and earlier every year in order to get the best people for their internships. And this is very important for the students because a lot of internships will lead to permanent jobs. The problem for us was when people were coming in for internships, they knew the fundamentals, but they didn't know specifics of marketing or finance. Now, by the time they hit their internships, of course, they knew all that information, but it wasn't happening during the interviews. And so what we've tried to do is move a few things up earlier so that people can be more successful in their internship interviewing. Furthermore, we've had an extensive pre-program, which we call BaseCamp, which allows all students to understand all aspects of business. This can be very helpful as they try to understand what part of business they would most like to get into, but it's also been extremely helpful as students are competing for internships because now they know more about the business as a whole earlier in the process. In our new curriculum, We're taking the strong fundamentals that we have in analytics, and we are augmenting it with further strengthening in the behavioral skills of communication and leadership. In doing so, we want to make our students successful immediately through their internships and their first jobs, but also throughout their careers as they take the fundamentals that they learn at the Tepper School and apply it throughout their life.